Do you have your ID with you?
I just listened to my voicemail.
What'd you hear?
I
Who was
just-
your voicemail?
It's from Lisa Carey, who is my real estate agent, or who I had gone with to find a house. She just said she was driving around town and she heard there was a shooting on Trescott.
Yeah. That's what this is about. I'm sorry you had to hear it that way.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I should.
It's all right. Just leave it there. Is it still on?
It's right there.
Hey, it's Lisa Carey. It is Friday, and I feel like an idiot doing this, but I just heard that there was a shooting over on Trescott, and I promise I'm not trying to be dramatic or even nosy. I don't know, just checking on you, my friend. I hope all is well. I hope your sweet boys are well, and if there's anything you need, let me know. It just ran a chill down my spine when I heard that there was something going on Trescott. All right, 212-3083. Hope all is well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
That's all right. You can stop it. Or does it stop automatically?
It's done.
Okay. Do you have your identification with you? So you never took the last name of Markel?
No.
Adelson. Okay. Wendi with an I. Joe. All right. There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home, at 2116 Trescott. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have a message from him this morning. What happened?
Well, before we get into everything, I have to establish where you were and who you were with and so forth.
Okay.
Okay, and then once we've established all that, I can give you more details.
Okay.
Do you understand why I wanted you to come here before I discuss this?
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, you have nothing to be sorry about.
I just don't understand. How did this really happen?
Can you let me get over this hump, okay? Can we do that first? All right. Can you tell me what time you left your house this morning?
Yeah, I was there. I didn't leave this morning. I didn't leave until noon.
Okay. And
Oh my God. And I tried to drive up Trescott and I saw that it was blocked.
It was blocked at some point. I'm not sure what time it was
And I
blocked.
just thought, oh, there's maybe some trees down or something. Because sometimes
Oh, you're saying as you drove down which one of the side roads?
when I'm going to a friend's party tonight, and it's a oh my God, what am I even talking about? I needed to buy, it's a stock the shelf engagement party, and so I went to buy bourbon.
Okay.
So I went to drive from my place up Trescott to get to ABC Liquor, and it was blocked, so I just turned around. I was on the phone at the time. I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
Right.
So I just turned around and drove up the other way. I just thought, oh, sometimes when I lived there were electrical things
Okay.
that would happen. I left my house around 12:15 because I thought I'll get the bourbon and then I'll get some gas for the car and get super glue for one of the boys' toys, and I was trying to do all I can before meeting my 2 friends at 1.
Okay, who was at your house this morning?
The only person that was at my house this morning was a guy from Best Buy, because my TV was broken and it's under warranty.
Easy for you.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, a guy from Best Buy was at your house to work on your TV?
I have his name and everything at the house if you want it, because the boys broke the TV, so he gave me a choice of fixing it or getting a new one.
What time did he come to the house?
He called me at around 8. He was probably there until around 10.
Okay. Okay. And then you
and then after he left, I kept working on a paper, and I emailed the paper to a librarian at school to work on some of the citations.
Okay.
And I don't think I talked to anyone else, but I was just working for an hour or so from the house. I was going to take a shower, but I didn't. I ran out of time. I did laundry. And then I left the house around noon.
To go to the liquor store and the stuff for the party?
Yeah.
Okay, you went down which road you said?
I went down Trescott.
Okay.
I saw a police car there, and I just thought it's blocked, so I just turned around and drove to, I went down the rest of Centerville, went up Benton, took Benton across, went to ABC Liquors, bought the bourbon.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving down Trescott?
It's usually the shortcut to get to Monroe.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay, all right, so
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic, Monroe, Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville?
I almost always cut through Trescott.
Trescott and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of like coming to terms with a divorce, but yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
Okay.
If the kids aren't home and I know they're not home, I feel better about driving by the house, but yeah, it's shorter and I just usually drive by.
It's shorter than going all the way down to Benton?
All the way down Centerville and around Benton. It's just a shortcut I always took.
Okay, so you turned around and went back to Centerville, I take it?
Yeah.
Down to Benton and went to the liquor store down there on Thomasville?
Yeah.
The one at Benton Road? ABC
Liquors, it's at, Benton. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, did you make a purchase there?
Yeah.
And that was sometime after 12?
Probably 12:30.
Okay, all right.
And I talked to a guy there because I don't really buy much alcohol, and so they wanted bourbon, and I asked the guy, we had a whole conversation about bourbon and my eyes, like...
Your eyes?
He just said, your eyes are really blue, and...
You have contacts?
I do.
Okay.
But I just remembered it. So I bought the bourbon and got some gas on Thomasville and met my friends at Mosaic.
Which gas station did you go to on Thomasville?
The one that's, I always forget the name, but the one that's close to the cross street. It's right next to the Goodwill.
Okay.
If you're heading north on Thomasville. If you're heading north on Thomasville, it's on your right.
Okay, just past the Goodwill
place? Just past the Goodwill. It's close to the intersection there.
Okay, all right, and then from that point you went straight to the...
Went to Mosaic.
Mosaic restaurant?
And met friends there. I used to have kind of a steady Friday meeting, and I hadn't seen my 2 friends in a while. And so we had made plans to meet up.
What time did you get to Mosaic?
About 1. I was a little late. We were supposed to meet at 1, and I got there at a few minutes after.
Okay. All right. I know it's cold in here. Okay.
I think that's not why.
Okay. I know it's part of it, but do you know anybody that would have a beef against your ex-husband?
He's oh God.
I hate to ask it now, but I have to do it now. You understand, right?
I understand. He had friends. He always meant well, but he would sometimes rub people the wrong way.
Okay.
But not anyone who would do something like this.
Anybody that he owes money to?
No. He gives money to me.
He gives money to you?
But
Okay.
not me.
Okay. All right. All right.
Oh my God, we're 4 kids. Oh, I know a lot of people didn't really love him, but I don't know anyone who would do something like this.
Well, we're still trying to determine, what happened and how it happened.
But he wouldn't do this to himself.
Okay.
He was a very positive person.
Okay. No one that you know of or that he's spoken to recently that he's had some type of problem with or that he was concerned about?
No one that he was concerned about. I mean, we've been separated for 2 years, so I don't know,
Right.
If he had something going on, I wouldn't know about it, but, I mean, I had lost my voice earlier this week, and so we had put off this conversation about our son's school and where he was going to go, and he, I can't, I know a lot of people didn't love him, but not anyone who would, hate him.
Okay.
He meant well. Everyone that knew him
Okay.
knows that he means well, but he can be a little, argumentative.
Right.
But not, he didn't owe anyone money. He didn't do anything except work and take care of his kids. He wasn't involved in anything bad.
Okay.
I can't believe this is happening.
I know. And he was a professor at the law school, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And your divorce has been 2 years, or the total separation, I'm assuming?
Total separation's been 2 years. Our divorce was finalized last summer around this time.
Okay.
He wouldn't do this to himself. He has a girlfriend now.
You know his.
What if I told you that a Harvard-educated law professor, a respected scholar devoted to his 2 young sons, was executed in his own driveway in broad daylight, and the one person who stood to gain everything from his demise has never spent a single day in jail? What if I told you that 5 people are now serving life sentences for this calculated execution, yet the ex-wife, the mother of the victim's children, walks free despite being named by prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator? This is the story of Dan Markel's murder, and at the center of it all stands Wendi Adelson, a woman whose role in this tragedy has divided legal experts, captivated the nation, and left one haunting question unanswered. How is she not behind bars? Before we dive deep into this baffling case, if you're fascinated by true crime stories where the truth hides in plain sight, where justice seems just out of reach, then you need to subscribe to Dark Trail Files right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we bring you the cases that keep you up at night, the mysteries that demand answers, and the investigations that reveal how the justice system can be both brilliant and bewildering. Don't miss out on our in-depth coverage of cases like this one, where every detail matters and nothing is quite what it seems. Now, let's unravel this mystery together. July 18th, 2014. A typical summer day in Tallahassee, Florida. Dan Markel, 41 years old, returns home from his regular workout at the gym. He pulls into his garage, just another routine moment in what should have been an ordinary day. But 2 men had been waiting. They had traveled over 500 miles from South Florida, stalking their target, learning his patterns, planning the perfect moment. As Dan sat in his car, still in the driver's seat, a light-colored Toyota Prius pulled up behind him. One man jumped out. 2 shots, both to the head, fired through the car window at point-blank range. Dan Markel, a brilliant legal mind, a father fighting for his children, was gone. The hitmen disappeared into the Florida heat, leaving behind a grieving family and a mystery that would take over a decade to fully unravel. But here's what makes this case extraordinary. Within 48 hours, Dan's 2 young sons were relocated to Miami by their mother, Wendi Adelson. The custody battle that had consumed years of legal proceedings was suddenly over. The obstacle preventing Wendi from moving her children to be near her wealthy family in South Florida had been permanently removed. The Adelson family seemed like the last people you'd associate with a murder-for-hire plot. They were wealthy, respected, prominent members of their South Florida community. Harvey Adelson ran a successful dental practice. Donna Adelson, the matriarch, was the kind of mother who believed her family came first, always. Their son Charlie was a successful dentist himself. And their daughter Wendi? She was a law professor at Florida State University, an advocate for children, educated at prestigious institutions. This wasn't a family that screamed criminal conspiracy. But prosecutors would eventually argue that beneath this respectable surface lurked something dark, something desperate, something deadly. Dan and Wendi's marriage had been promising at first. Two academics, both lawyers, both passionate about their work. But the relationship deteriorated. The divorce, finalized in 2013, was contentious. Wendi wanted to move back to Miami, to be near her close-knit family. Dan refused. He wanted to stay in Tallahassee, where his career flourished. The court sided with Dan. Wendi was granted 50-50 custody, but she could not relocate the children. For the Adelson family, particularly Donna, this was unacceptable. Emails between Donna and Wendi revealed the depth of their frustration. Donna pushed relocation at any cost. She even suggested offering Dan $1 million to let the children move, a sum she was willing to split with Wendi and Charlie. In those emails, Donna's desperation was palpable. She couldn't accept that her daughter and grandchildren were 500 miles away, couldn't accept that a man she had grown to despise held that kind of power over her family's future. And then there were Dan's concerns about Donna herself. Just months before his death, Dan filed a motion to prevent Donna from having unsupervised visits with his sons. He claimed she disparaged him to the children, that the boys would come back saying things like, "Grandma says you're stupid." This motion was still pending when Dan was shot. After his death, it became irrelevant. Donna would have all the access to her grandchildren she ever wanted. Hours after Dan's murder, Wendi sat down with investigators and mentioned something that seemed bizarre at the time. Her brother Charlie had made a joke about hiring a hitman. But was it really a joke? Listen carefully to what she says here.
I absolutely had a close relationship with my brother.
And how soon after the murder did your lawyer advise you not to talk to your family about it?
In 2016.
Okay, so what about the 2 years in between? Did you talk to him about it then?
I mean, I talked to him about the fact that a murder occurred, but I guess I don't understand the question.
But you never talked to him about the suspicions you raised in the law enforcement interview that your brother might have done it.
No, I did not.
You suspected your brother could have been a part of this, right?
I suspected lots of people could have been a part of it.
But he was one of the people, right?
While I was talking with law enforcement for 6 hours, terrified out of my mind, I offered them every possible idea I could come up with.
Right, and one of the possible ideas was that your brother could have murdered your child's father.
I didn't really believe that was possible.
Was part of the plot for you to be able to have plausible deniability about this?
Absolutely not.
Is it better for both you and your brother if you don't know the details of this?
I don't even understand the question that you're asking me.
When did you first become aware that you might be a suspect in this case?
I mean, as the ex-wife, I assumed I was a suspect from the beginning.
What was your first thought when you were asked if anyone might have murdered Dan Markel for your benefit?
I thought, oh my God, maybe if I hadn't divorced him, he would still be alive. Maybe this is my fault because I complained to the wrong person. Maybe Danny gave a student a bad grade and they came after him. I just was trying to think of who possibly could have wanted to hurt him.
But you didn't say any of that before. I mean, the first thing you said was Charlie, right?
I don't think so.
Page 25 of your interview, line 5 through 15. Do you have any reason to dispute? Page 25, not 5 hours into it. You say Charlie might have done it, right?
Can I see, please?
You may. This is going to be tab 1, page 25.
What I say here is that he would never do it. Right under the highlighted part, I say no, he would never.
Need a copy?
Page 25, line 5 through 15. I mean, my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to. He makes a lot of jokes in that taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and then I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay or fix it, or whether I should get a new one. And it was always his joke that, like, he knew that Danny always treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. And you do say you don't think he would do it, but can we agree you brought up his name on page 25 of the interview?
I did.
When asked, would you ever ask someone to do something like this? You say not in a million years. When asked, okay, do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you? You say no. And when Isom starts to ask you what good does it serve, you say, I mean my brother, the one, his name is Charlie. Isn't that how it went?
This is the transcript, but I think there's also inaccuracies in the transcription.
Oh boy. All right. Do you want the culpable parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children?
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
But not if it's your family.
It's not my family.
I mean, somebody hired them, right?
Not necessarily.
Somebody paid them.
I learned something this morning.
Yeah, me too. You didn't want them held accountable if it was your family members. Didn't you tell law enforcement that?
That's not what I told law enforcement.
What did you tell law enforcement?
I told them that the person who did this should be held responsible and that I had nothing to do with it.
Page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The investigator says, regardless of who it is, and your answer is, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
But I don't think it was my family, is what I said.
Different now, isn't it?
No, it's not different. That's exactly
different
what I
today,
said
isn't
right
it?
here. No, that's not
No
right.
further question.
In that police interview conducted the day of the murder, Wendi mentioned something that investigators would never forget. She said her brother Charlie had joked about hiring a hitman, claiming it would be cheaper than the expensive television he'd given her as a divorce present. At the time, it might have seemed like a dark joke from an overprotective brother. But years later, when the conspiracy unraveled, that joke took on a chilling new meaning. Jeff Lacasse, Wendi's ex-boyfriend, would later testify to something far more disturbing. He dated Wendi during the custody battle, and just days before Dan's murder, Wendi confided in him. She asked if she could tell him something in confidence. Then she revealed that her brother Charlie had looked into all options to take care of the Dan Markel problem, including hiring a hitman, and that it would cost about $15,000. Lacasse testified that Wendi appeared completely serious. This wasn't a joke. This was a confession delivered to someone she trusted days before her ex-husband was executed for roughly that exact amount. When prosecutors heard Lacasse's testimony, they knew they had a problem. Wendi had advanced knowledge of a murder plot. She knew her brother had looked into hiring a killer. Yet she never warned Dan, never called the police, never tried to stop what was coming. The question wasn't just whether Wendi knew. It was whether she wanted it to happen. Prosecutors built their case methodically, starting with the shooters and working their way up the chain. Luis Rivera, one of the hitmen, was the first to crack. He pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for testimony. He admitted that his accomplice Sigfrido Garcia fired the fatal shots while he waited in the Prius. But Rivera barely knew who Dan Markel was. This wasn't personal for him. It was business. The money trail led to Catherine Magbanua. She was the connection, the bridge between the wealthy Adelson family and the street-level killers. Katie had children with Sigfrido Garcia and was in a relationship with Charlie Adelson. After Dan's murder, large sums of money flowed from the Adelsons through Katie to the hitman. Checks written by Donna Adelson, money from the family dental practice, all funneling through Katie. She was convicted twice, once after a retrial when her first trial ended in a hung jury. Then came Charlie Adelson, Wendy's brother, the dentist, the one who'd made the hitman joke. In November 2023, Charlie was convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. The evidence was damning. Wiretap conversations, financial records, testimony from co-conspirators. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 60 years. Charlie had been the architect on his level, the one who hired Katie, who provided the money, who made it all happen. But prosecutors argued he wasn't acting alone. He was doing this for someone. He was doing this for his sister. 1 week after Charlie's conviction, his mother Donna did something that revealed just how deep this conspiracy went. November 2023. 1 week after Charlie's conviction, Donna Adelson and her husband Harvey arrived at Miami International Airport with one-way tickets to Vietnam. Not round trip. One way. Vietnam is one of the few countries with no extradition treaty with the United States. They had rushed to obtain visas. Donna had been recorded on a jailhouse call with Charlie, discussing countries without extradition agreements, saying they'd been looking it up over and over because things change. This wasn't a vacation. This was a desperate attempt to flee justice. FBI agents arrested Donna at the airport. She was charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Her trial began in August 2025, and the evidence was overwhelming. Wiretap conversations where she implicated herself. The checks she'd written to Katie Magbanua. The airport arrest that screamed consciousness of guilt. And most damaging of all, testimony from her own children. Her eldest son Robert, estranged from the family, painted Donna as controlling and manipulative. But it was Wendy's testimony that truly captivated the courtroom. The daughter taking the stand against her mother in a murder trial. What would she say? Would she finally tell the truth about her own involvement? This is the moment everyone had been waiting for. Wendi Adelson, testifying under immunity, facing questions about her role in her ex-husband's execution. Watch how she answers when directly confronted about the conspiracy.
Were you in any way involved in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
No.
Did you maybe know it was going to happen but not know the details?
I did not know it was going to happen, and I did not know any details.
Did you provide any information, even unknowingly in hindsight, that you think could have been used to assist the murderers?
I don't think so. I didn't provide any information.
What information do you have regarding your mother's involvement in the plot to kill your ex-husband?
I don't have information.
But you do admit that your brother said he looked into hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel.
I don't. I admit that my brother made a tasteless joke repeatedly about buying me a TV because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
But then someone did hire a hitman who did kill Dan Markel, right?
Yes, that happened.
Was part of the plot to kill your ex for you to have plausible deniability or to know very little about it?
I was not involved in any plot to kill Danny.
Were you shielded from the plot because, I don't know, you couldn't be trusted to keep a secret?
I was not involved in any plot to kill Danny.
Why did you tell investigator Isom in your law enforcement interview that you were worried the police, or you were worried, I guess, in the police car on the way to be interviewed, that you might be considered a suspect?
Because I couldn't think of anything bad going on in his life other than the divorce. And frequently the ex-wife is a suspect.
Were you treated as a suspect?
I was not.
But you mentioned 9 times in your law enforcement interview being a suspect. Didn't you?
I did, yes.
Wendi had testified in every trial related to Dan's murder, each time under immunity granted by prosecutors. This immunity meant her testimony couldn't be used against her in future proceedings. She could invoke her Fifth Amendment rights because the state had essentially promised not to prosecute her based on what she said. But immunity has limits. If she lied under oath, if prosecutors could prove perjury, that immunity could evaporate. At Donna's trial, Wendi was visibly emotional. Her mother sat just feet away, watching her daughter testify against her. Wendi described Donna as overprotective, emotional, someone who operated with what Wendi called emotional subterfuge. But when asked directly if Donna was involved in plotting Dan's murder, Wendi said she had no information about that. When asked if she herself was involved, her answer was unequivocal. Absolutely not. But prosecutors weren't buying it. They had done their homework. Watch what happens when they confront Wendi with her own past statements and a mountain of circumstantial evidence surrounding her.
Your name and spell your name.
Wendi Adelson, Wendiadelson.
Ms. Adelson, where are you from?
I'm from Coral Springs, Florida.
And you live in another state now currently, right?
I do, yes, ma'am.
All right. How are you employed?
I'm an immigration attorney.
How long have you been an attorney?
Since 2006.
And you're here pursuant to a state subpoena, is that correct?
Yes.
And that subpoena confers a type of immunity on you. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. Which means that nothing you say here in court pursuant to that subpoena can be used against you at a later time. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean you could never be prosecuted. It just means that what you say in court could not be used in any future prosecution. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. I want to ask you about your ex-husband, Daniel Markel. Is that a fair and accurate photo of Mr. Markel?
Yes.
When did you meet him?
We met originally online. It must have been the fall of my first year of law school, so 2003.
Okay. And when did you marry Mr. Markel?
We married in February of 2006.
Were you living in Tallahassee at some point as a married couple?
Yes.
When did you move to Tallahassee?
We moved to Tallahassee my final year of law school, so that would have been in the summer of 2005. And we were here from 2005 till 2006. We spent a year at the University of Miami from 2006 to 2007, and then came back to Tallahassee from 2007 until 2014.
All right. And during the time that you were living here in Tallahassee, did you live over on Trescott Drive?
For some of the time that we lived here, yes.
And when your first child was born, were you residing at the Trescott Drive residence at that point?
Yes.
Okay. I think I have a photo of that here. Is that the Trescott Drive residence?
Yes.
Okay. And how many children did you have with Mr. Markel?
We have 2 children.
What were their ages at the time of their father's death?
It was 10 days before my older son's 5th birthday, so he was 4 turning 5, and our younger son was 3.5. The boys are 14 months apart.
And did there come a time when you and Mr. Markel separated?
Yes.
When was the separation?
It was in the fall of 2012.
Whose decision was it to separate?
It was mine.
How did your ex take that news?
Well, we talked about it many times before it actually happened, but when the separation became official, he was very upset.
And even though there were problems and issues and discussions, it was a surprise to him when it actually happened, right?
It was.
Okay. And was part of the reason for the separation your differing views on how to raise the kids pursuant to the Jewish faith?
I'd say it was a very small part, but it was a part.
Did you consider your ex to be a religious zealot?
No, I didn't think he was a religious zealot, but I did think he was using religion as a way of controlling me.
Prosecutors showed the emails between Wendi and Donna, revealing the depth of Wendi's frustration with Dan. In one email, Wendi called Dan an STD, saying marrying him was one wrong mistake that would never go away. She used other terms too: emotional terrorist, dark lord. These weren't the words of someone who had moved on peacefully from her divorce. The hostility in those communications was undeniable. But Wendi had an explanation for everything, a response to every question that seemed designed to distance herself from the conspiracy.
Did you refer to him as an STD?
I don't remember saying that.
Tab 5.
It looks like I made that analogy.
Danny is an STD. One wrong mistake, marrying him, and this will never go away. Is that what you said?
I did.
And did you share that kind of sentiment with your mother?
I don't remember ever saying that, so I don't think it's something I said very often.
And this was said in an email on February 26th of 2013, correct?
It was.
Approximately 17 months before the murder?
Yes, I don't think it was an email, though. It looks like it was sort of an iMessage.
Okay. Did you ever refer to your ex-husband as the Dark Lord?
I don't remember saying that, but I certainly might have.
Did you refer to your ex-husband as Jibbers?
I did.
What is the meaning of Jibbers?
Jibbers was just a silly name that a friend helped me come up with to basically make him feel less scary. It was nonsense.
Did it reference Jew in boots?
That I don't remember.
It wasn't a friendly name, right?
It was a silly name.
Did you ever say that you hated Dan Markel?
I don't remember saying it, but I certainly could have.
Tab 31, please, to refresh your memory.
I said that I hate him in this moment.
Okay, and did you say in that email, that same email, quote, I hate my children's dad?
I did.
And do you agree that email was sent approximately 15 months before Mr. Markel was murdered?
It was in April of 2013.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Wendi acknowledged sending the STD email. She admitted to her frustration, but she maintained she never wanted Dan dead, never knew about any plot, never provided information to help carry out the murder. But here's what prosecutors found so compelling. What makes Wendi's denials so hard to accept? The timing, the coincidences, the facts that don't add up. Few people knew Dan's schedule on July 18th, but Wendi did. She was his co-parent. She knew his routines. Days before the murder, she contacted Dan to confirm the parenting schedule, dates they had already agreed upon. Why double-check something already settled? Prosecutors suggested she was confirming his whereabouts for the hitman. Wendi had also asked her then-boyfriend Jeff Lacoste about his travel plans around that same time. Prosecutors theorized the Adelsons considered framing Lacoste, needed to know he'd be unavailable as an alternate suspect. And then there's the television. On the morning of Dan's murder, Wendy called her brother Charlie. They talked for 18 minutes about a television repair. That repair had been set up and scheduled by their mother Donna. A television that Charlie had supposedly given Wendy as a divorce present. The same television mentioned in the hitman joke. Prosecutors argued this was coordination, a carefully constructed alibi. Wendy would be home waiting for the TV repairman when Dan was shot, giving her an unshakable reason to be exactly where she needed to be. Wendy had written a fictional book, and prosecutors found some of the content eerily prescient. Listen to what she wrote and ask yourself, was this fiction or a blueprint?
And is that the only book you've written, or have you written more than one book?
I've only written one book.
What was the book about?
The book was about human trafficking and about the vulnerabilities that lead to trafficking, the problems when it occurs, and basically how to recover from it after.
Where was the book set?
It was set in a fictional town.
What was the name of the fictional town?
Hiawassee Springs.
So Hiawassee. Is it located in the panhandle of Florida?
No, I used to see the name when I was driving from Tallahassee to Orlando, so it's somewhere in between.
And was the place modeled after Tallahassee?
It was definitely somewhere in Florida, but not supposed to be about Tallahassee, no.
Who was the central character in that book?
So there's 3 central characters. One was one of my clients, kind of a composite character from Eastern Europe. One was kind of a composite character of many clients I've represented from Latin America, and one was a public interest lawyer.
And was the public interest lawyer Lily?
Yes.
And is that the character that's sort of based after yourself?
No, really more based after a friend of mine.
And was Hiawassee, Florida, quote, just a small stop on the way back to what we had previously known as civilization? Is that a quote from your book?
That sounds like a quote from my book, yeah.
And who's the husband of Lily, the public interest lawyer?
You want his name in the book?
Yes.
I think it was Josh Stone.
All right, and what was Josh's employment?
Josh was an English professor.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
Josh was an English professor.
A professor, where did he teach?
It's been a while. I wrote the book over 10 years ago. I don't remember what I named the university in the
North Florida State University?
That sounds right.
NFSU?
NFSU sounds right, yeah.
All right, and in the book, does Lily lament, quote, we moved to this godforsaken place for Josh's career?
Yes, that sounds like a line Lily would say.
All right. When you looked at page 187 of the divorce document on cross, and I'll hand that back to you. This is actually my copy. Just turn back to 187. Do you see the quote that you read previously from that page?
I don't.
Okay. It had to do with, let's see if I can find it, that you were very unhappy in the marriage. I think it's the 3rd paragraph there.
I see that line.
Okay, the wife has been very unhappy in the marriage and files her petition for dissolution of marriage in August 2012. The husband continues to characterize this as abandonment, and then it goes on to say that he had been disparaging you to some of the folks at the law school. Do you remember reading that?
I do.
Was that intended to be the place in this binder where you allege emotional abuse by your husband?
I mean, I think it's emotionally abusive to suggest somebody has mental health issues.
Okay. What is the Prof's blog? You were asked about that on Cross.
Yeah, it was a blog that Danny started with some of his colleagues to kind of promote community in the law professor world.
And who reads the Prof's?
Probably
Prof's blog?
other law professors and people interested in becoming law professors.
Who is on the Crim Prof listserv?
I don't know.
Were you on the listserv for that Prof's blog?
I may have been on the listserv at some point.
Do you remember seeing the post that you were shown on Cross?
I do.
And the post says something about Danny and I are planning to attend a conference that will begin Sunday, July 20th. Is there any other information on what you were shown about Dan's travel plans post-murder other than that?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
The post says Danny and I guess it's another professor writing this thing. Danny and I are planning to attend a conference that will begin Sunday, July 20th. Is that the type of information that he would typically have on something like the Prof's blog or Facebook?
That sounds right.
Okay, but as far as the date he's leaving, the flight he's on, that kind of stuff, would that typically be on the Prof's blog?
He wouldn't put what flight number he was on, but he would almost always communicate when he was going on a trip.
Okay, so going to a conference that starts July 20th might be an example.
Flying to New York tomorrow would be an example,
Okay. But
not a flight number.
But he didn't put flying to New York tomorrow on this occasion.
No.
You were referenced several times, not on direct examination by the state, but by your brother's attorney on Cross as a co-conspirator. Are you charged in this case?
No.
This isn't your trial, is it?
No.
Is your brother charged with conspiring with you to do a murder?
No.
Is he charged with conspiring with you to plan a murder?
No.
Is he charged with soliciting you to do a murder?
No.
Who is he charged with doing those things with?
I don't think anyone.
Have you had an opportunity to review his indictment in this case?
I have not.
Give you an opportunity to take a look at that document to yourself. Who is your brother alleged to have done these crimes with?
Catherine D. Magbanowa.
Were you on the wire in this case, Ms. Adelson?
No.
So when the bump happened, are you familiar with the event I'm referencing as the bump?
I am now.
When law enforcement approached your mother on the street and handed her a piece of paper?
Yes.
Okay, when that occurred, who did your mother call?
I don't know.
Not you, right?
Not me.
Okay. And once your brother found out about the bump, did he call you about it?
No.
Who did he call?
I don't know.
Well, you listened to the calls to authenticate the voices, didn't you?
Just to hear the voices, not to hear the content of the calls.
Okay. And the voices were your brother's voice, right?
But I listened to the calls just to hear who was on them, so I don't know what content they're referencing.
I heard your answer. My question to you now is, your brother's voice was on the calls.
He was on some of the calls I listened to.
Okay. Your mother's voice was on the calls.
She was on some of the calls I listened to.
Did you have any secret meetings with your brother post bump that happened in South Florida?
No.
You were asked about Jeffrey Lacasse and the way that your relationship ended. What is OkCupid?
OkCupid is a dating website.
Were you on that dating website?
I was.
Were you on that dating website at the time that you were dating Mr. Lacasse?
No, I wasn't.
And were you speaking, so I guess if you weren't on it, you weren't speaking to multiple men from the website during the time you were dating Mr. Lacasse. And I'll remind you that you provided your phone in this case and it was cell-brighted, downloaded.
Objection, Your Honor. Argument.
In her book, Wendi wrote about themes that mirrored her own life, a woman trapped, wanting to escape. It was fiction, she insisted, but prosecutors saw it differently. They saw a woman who had been planning, thinking, imagining a way out of her situation. Donna Adelson's defense tried desperately to point the finger at Wendi. Luis Rivera, the hitman, testified that he believed it was Wendi who wanted Dan dead, not Donna. The defense emphasized this, trying to shift the conspiracy away from their client. But prosecutors had an answer. They described the conspiracy like train cars, each person only communicating with the person adjacent to them. Donna didn't need to talk to the hitman. She talked to Charlie. Charlie talked to Katie. Katie talked to the killers. And Wendi? She didn't need to actively participate in the logistics. Her role was simpler. She provided the motive, the information, the green light. Despite all the evidence, despite everything prosecutors laid out, Wendi maintained her innocence right to the end. Here she is, one final time, denying any involvement in the murder of her children's father.
Ms. Adelson, I want to ask you a little bit about your brother, Charlie Adelson. How is he older or younger than you?
I'm the youngest of the 3 children, so both my brothers are older than me.
How much older than you is Charlie?
He's 2.5 years older.
And in the time frame 2013 to 2014, how much time were you spending with Charlie Adelson?
I don't remember spending a lot of time with him. I was in Tallahassee most of the time, and he was in South Florida most of the time.
Did you speak with Charlie regularly during that time?
We did.
What type of lifestyle did your brother have around the time frame 2014 to 2016?
My brother was a single guy. He was dating lots of people. He worked really hard till early in the morning till late at night, sometimes 6 or 7 days a week.
Worked hard, played hard?
Yeah, I think that was kind of his lifestyle.
Did he like nice things?
He
Fancy
did.
Cars?
He liked nice cars. He liked nice food.
Okay. Did you, during the phone conversations you had with your brother during that time, did you talk much about your marital problems?
I mean, to be honest, I don't remember, but I'm sure we talked about it.
Is it fair to say during the year or so leading up to Mr. Markel's murder that your brother did not like him?
I think that's fair to say.
Did your brother joke about hiring a hitman to kill Dan Markel?
He did make that joke.
What was the joke specifically?
My brother had bought me a TV as a divorce present, and he would make the joke that the TV was cheaper than hiring a hitman.
Did you ever tell Jeffrey Lacasse about that joke?
I may have mentioned that joke to Jeff Lacasse.
Who is that?
Jeff Lacasse was someone that I dated after Danny and I got divorced.
Had he met your parents?
I think he may have met them once, but not in any kind of formal way. Just my parents were visiting and he might have said hi, something like that.
Did your parents express any opinion about him, whether they liked him or not?
I don't remember them really taking notice of him.
Do you remember sending a text back on May 28th of 2014 that saying, quote, "My parents are not into him," referring to Jeff?
I don't remember sending that text.
On the morning of the murder, did you have an appointment at your residence on Aqua Ridge?
I did.
What was the nature of that appointment?
I had an appointment with the Geek Squad. There were some vertical lines on the TV. I didn't know if maybe one of my kids had tapped it or touched it, but it wasn't working. And so I had an appointment, and they were scheduled to come sometime between 8 and 12.
And was that the TV that was the same TV that your brother joked he got you as a divorce present because it was cheaper than hiring a hitman?
Yes.
Okay. And on the morning of the murder, did your mom text you about the TV repair guy being on the way or coming to your house?
She did. I didn't buy the TV, and the TV had an insurance policy that came with the Geek Squad help. So I think they reached out to her first, and then she let me know that they were coming.
The TV was under warranty, right?
I believe so.
But the damage that you had was not covered by the warranty, was it?
I don't think so.
Okay, and do you recall how long the TV repairman was at your house?
I don't. It was a reasonable amount of time, so maybe an hour or so.
And why did it take an hour to determine that the TV couldn't be repaired or was not under warranty?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about AV equipment.
And the TV repair guy, well, I guess I should ask, were you upset, crying and upset during the time that the TV repairman was there?
I don't think so.
Were you particularly upset about the TV, the fact that the TV couldn't be repaired?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the TV guy, to your recollection, didn't actually do anything. He didn't fix the TV, he didn't take it away, he didn't bring you a new one.
No. He was trying to fix it. I mean, I think he was trying to assess what the problem was and if it could be fixed, but it wasn't taken away.
The problem was like an impact to the screen, right?
It seemed to be that, yeah.
Okay. Did you go to a dinner after the murder of Dan Markel in which you vomited at the table?
It was several weeks until I felt ready to leave my apartment. I was very, very scared.
So that happened?
It did happen.
Okay, and that was in a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm. It was at a restaurant.
Who was present at that dinner?
It was my brother and me.
And where was the dinner?
It was
Florida or here? Or
it was
somewhere
South Florida.
Okay, and you said it was several weeks after the murder?
I believe so.
Had you ever heard Charlie, your brother, refer to that dinner as a celebratory dinner?
Only in previous trials, but never to me personally.
Did you hear him say it the night that you had the dinner or after that?
No.
That you threw up at the celebration?
No.
Do you know Catherine Magbanua?
I met her on 2 occasions.
Okay. Do you have an independent friendship with her, or did you just meet her through your brother?
I just met her through my brother.
Who was she to Charlie?
She was a person that he had dated.
Was she a serious girlfriend?
I didn't think so.
Okay. Did he have a lot of girlfriends that kind of came and went?
He had a lot of girlfriends, and they all looked somewhat similar.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's... One moment, Your Honors. Show you what I marked as 35. Recognize States 35?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
This was a visit. I went to the beach with Catherine and a friend of hers for about an hour.
Catherine Magbanua?
Yes.
All right, and when was this photograph taken?
It was Father's Day weekend of June 2014.
So just about a month before the murder?
Yes.
And was this the first time you'd ever met Catherine Magbanua?
It was the second time. The first time was at a dinner with my brother and with Jeff Lacasse when I was running an alternative spring break. I came down to visit.
Is that the dinner at Yardbird?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get back to that. So this was the second meeting?
Yes.
All right, Judge, move to introduce State's Exhibit 35.
Any objection?
No objection.
States 35 is admitted.
Publishing States 35. Which one is Catherine Magbanua?
She's on the left with the white top.
Okay, and that's you in the center there?
That's me in the middle.
And this photograph, was it taken near your parents' residence in
It
South
was.
Beach?
Mm-hmm. Very close.
During that trip, were there any conversations with Catherine Magbanua or your brother or your mother about the murder?
No.
Is Catherine Magbanua the girlfriend that your brother had in this time frame leading up to the murder?
I believe so, but he had multiple girlfriends, so I don't know if she was the only one.
Okay, but that's definitely the one that you interacted with the month before.
Yes, ma'am.
Did anything stand out to you about this particular girl as being, you know, the one or special or different from the parade of girlfriends that
No.
Charlie had? Did your brother have girlfriends after this woman, Magbanua?
Yes.
Okay, including, do you remember a Whitney?
I do remember Whitney.
And then there was June Mchinda,
Yes, I remember June.
a June Co, I think.
I remember Junko.
Okay. Prior to Dan Markel's murder, was this image taken at your trip to South Beach that was most recent before the murder?
No,
So you went down another time between this trip and the murder.
I did. I went down for my dad's birthday.
And when was that?
It would have been, his birthday was on July 5th. And so I was down, I don't remember the exact amount of time, but maybe 7 or 10 days over July 4th and for his birthday, and then went back to Tallahassee.
Did you run into Catherine Magbanua at all on that trip?
I don't think so.
Any discussion with any members of your family about the murder on that trip?
No,
It was your dad's 70th birthday, right?
it was.
And was there a party?
We had a party.
Was that friends, family, both?
It was friends and family.
And I think, is this the trip that we were talking about earlier where your parents had come to Tallahassee to fetch you and take you down south?
Yes.
Was there any discussion on that trip about any other relocation strategies?
I don't have any memory of that.
Like bribing, converting to Christianity, any of those things?
It had been, I think, about a year since.
Since those were first broached.
Right, but I'm just saying by that time it was the summer of 2014. I don't remember any kind of conversation like that.
Okay. Was there any discussion on that trip of the pending motion that included precluding your mom from having unsupervised visits with your boys?
No.
Do you remember the time frame that the repairman was at your house on the morning of the murder?
I remember more or less. I feel like he came, I think he was supposed to come sometime between 8 and 12, and he came on the early side. Because I just remember being surprised and trying to get dressed really fast.
Okay. And Dan Markel was killed between 8 and 12, right? We know
He was.
that now. Who paid the repairman that came to your house?
I think he was under contract, so I don't have a strong memory of that, but I don't remember paying him. It's possible that I did.
I'm going to ask you a few more questions about Mr. Lacasse. You said you might have mentioned the joke to him about TV's cheaper than a hitman. Did you ever use the term TV as code for the murder in any context?
No.
Did you ever hear your mom do that, other than the recordings in this case?
No.
So she didn't talk to you about the TV?
No.
Did you see Mr. Lacasse, and you said that was somebody that you had been dating around the time of the murder, is that right?
We had broken up just before that week that Danny was killed.
All right. Did you have an occasion to see him on July 13th of 2014, so just about a week before the murder at your residence?
I don't remember him being at my residence, but I do remember seeing him around that time.
Okay. And on July 13th, 2014, do you remember asking to share something in confidence with Mr. Lacasse?
I don't remember doing that.
Did you tell Mr. Lacasse in the context of if something were to happen to Danny, I could move back to Miami? Did you tell Lacasse that regarding the relocation battle in the summer of 2013, Charlie had, seriously, not as a joke, explored all options to resolve the problem, including hiring a hitman?
I did not have that conversation with Jeff Lacasse.
And I think you said the week before, but wasn't it actually about, I think it was 4 days before the murder, you sent an email to Mr. Lacasse? Do you remember that email, bump in the road?
I remember telling him I didn't want to have contact with him anymore. I don't remember exactly what date I sent it, but whatever date Sunday or Monday of that week would have been around when I sent it.
Here we go. Does this refresh your memory at all?
It does.
Okay. And so you weren't officially breaking up with him so much as asking for a certain period of time without contact, is that right?
That sounds right.
Okay, and then your plan was to reach back out to him and figure things out one way or the other?
I mean, I think I was breaking up with him, but I have a strong aversion to conflict, so this was probably my way of not breaking up with him without breaking up with him.
Okay. And I want to go back to the day of the murder. We know about the TV repairman left about, did you say about 9?
The truth is I don't really remember, but, something like 9 or 10.
Definitely before 10 or by 10?
Yes, that's my best memory.
All right. Where did you go after the TV? What was the next place you went after the TV repairman left?
So I was home, I think, for a couple of hours first. I was doing a little bit of work. I was talking to some friends. I think I ate breakfast. And then I left probably close to noon or a little bit after noon. I was meeting 2 friends who I would frequently meet on a Friday to have lunch with. And so I went to run a few quick errands and then meet them for lunch.
And on your way to meet the friends, did you have an occasion to go down Trescott?
I was trying to turn down Trescott. That's where I used to turn and take just the road I was used to. But there was yellow tape up. And so when I tried to turn, I couldn't turn. So I made a 3-point turn and kept going on Centerville.
And so you encountered a police roadblock at that location?
Yes.
Okay, couldn't go any further because there was a police car and some yellow tape, right?
Right.
And that was, you were able to see that from the intersection there, or you actually turned onto Trescott?
I tried to turn, and then I couldn't go through, so I turned around and kept going.
How far down Trescott did you proceed before you turned around?
Just until the tape.
Okay. Which one of you or your ex-husband had the kids the night before he was killed?
The night before, they were with Danny.
All right, so it was his responsibility to take them to preschool that morning?
Yes.
Who was supposed to pick them up from preschool that day?
I was supposed to pick them up.
Had you talked to Dan Markel or your children that morning before you encountered the roadblock?
I hadn't talked to the boys because I wouldn't have talked to them, they didn't have cell phones, they were little, so I only would have spoken to them if I had gone to the preschool and seen them, but I didn't do that, so I hadn't talked to the boys. I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
How about Dan? Did you speak to him that morning?
We didn't. We had plans to talk. We had traded some text messages and emails, and then I called him and he didn't pick up, and that was the last contact.
Did you attempt to call Dan Markel when you encountered the roadblock?
No.
Did you attempt to call your kids' daycare after encountering the roadblock?
No.
Did you notify anyone that you observed the roadblock?
I was talking on the phone at the time, so I may have said to the person I was talking to, I'm trying to drive, but I have to turn around, hold on.
Okay, that was probably a bad question. Did you attempt to investigate in any way or ask anyone what the roadblock was about?
I wasn't concerned about the roadblock.
Was Mr. Markel scheduled to leave town the day after he was killed?
I don't remember if he was scheduled to leave town on Friday afternoon or on Saturday morning, but I know that he would go to New York every time he had a chance, and I think that was where he was going. But I don't know when he was leaving.
Okay, if you'll take a look at not the binder we've been using, but the other binder, should have your law enforcement interview on the front.
Okay.
And I would just ask you to review page 159, lines 10 and 11. I think it's the very, are you able to find it?
Sorry, when he had plans to be out of town, he was leaving on Saturday.
Okay.
So it looks like I knew that he was leaving Saturday.
All right. And you knew he was planning to go to New York?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how, if the killers knew that he was leaving town the next day, do you know how that information got to them?
I don't.
Did your brother Charlie know that information?
I don't
your
know if
knowledge?
I don't know if he knew that information.
Did your mother know that information?
My mom usually knew our schedule, so she probably would have known that I was going to have the boys. I don't know if that means she knew he was going to be out of town, but she would have known that I had the boys.
And didn't your mom keep meticulous track of every time that Dan went out of town?
Maybe just in the sense that if Danny was out of town, she thought maybe I needed extra help or something. So yes, probably.
And when that became an issue in the divorce, she was able to send you a record going all the way back to 2010, a couple of years, of every single date he was out of town. Do you remember that email?
My mom never switched over to like a Google Calendar, so she would keep very meticulous, like a calendar of all the things she had to do, and so that was just her way of keeping track of everything. Not just this, but every part of life.
She's very detail oriented.
Yes.
Even regarding things that aren't necessarily her business, or do you think that Dan's travel plans were somehow her business?
I think only to the extent that it impacted whether I had the boys or whether they were coming to visit or what that looked like.
Okay. Did Mr. Markel leave you a message on the morning of his murder?
He did.
Okay, and did he indicate on that message that he was going to the gym that morning?
He did.
And specifically, did it tell you he'd be at the gym between 9:15 and 10:30?
I don't remember, but that sounds about right.
All right, and would he have given you that much detail because you were planning to try to touch base to talk, right?
Yeah, we were trying to have a conversation.
And was the conversation something about one of the children's schooling?
It was.
Did you talk to your brother Charlie on the morning of the murder?
September 4th, 2025. After just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Donna Adelson guilty on all charges. First-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, solicitation of murder. She was sentenced to life in prison on October 13th. 5 people now sit in prison for Dan Markel's execution. The 2 hitmen, Catherine Magbanua, Charlie Adelson, Donna Adelson, all convicted, all serving life sentences. But Wendi Adelson remains free. She has never been charged. Prosecutors have named her as an unindicted co-conspirator, a designation that means they believe she was involved but haven't brought formal charges. Why? Legal experts point to several factors. First, there's the immunity she's been granted for her testimony. Every time she takes the stand, prosecutors give her derivative use immunity, meaning they can't use her testimony or evidence derived from it against her. This protects her from prosecution for what she says in court. But immunity isn't absolute. If prosecutors can prove she perjured herself, if they can show she lied under oath, that immunity becomes void. Throughout her testimonies, even prosecutors acknowledge something about Wendi. She's smart. Very smart. Perhaps smart enough to walk the line between truth and deception without crossing into provable perjury.
Now I want to talk about your knowledge and your belief on this. You're a smart person, right?
How am I supposed to answer that?
Well, let's go through your resume. You went to Brandeis University, right?
I did.
You graduated magna cum laude.
I did.
If you could explain to the jury what that means.
It means I studied a lot and got good grades.
All right. It means, and to speak, I'm from the Northeast. My Boston accent may give it away. It means you're wicked smart, right?
That's very
You had a
nice.
high
Thank
GPA,
you.
a very high GPA.
I work hard.
You also went and you got a master's degree from the University of Cambridge.
I did.
You were a Gates Scholar.
I was.
You then go to the University of Miami School of Law, which is a top-tier law school, tier 1, right?
Okay.
Right? We're talking about your level of intelligence. You went to the University of Miami Law School, right?
I did, yes.
You also clerked at the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, right?
I did.
Now, to get a clerkship out of law school, it's a very difficult thing to do, right?
It's challenging.
You have to have top grades. You have to go through a rigorous selection process, right?
Yes.
You then become a professor at the Florida State University College of Law, right?
Yes.
You're also a published author, right?
Now you're just embarrassing me.
This case everywhere. You'd agree with me on that, right?
I've been advised by my lawyer not to read it.
All right. Now, we're not talking about reading stuff. There's podcasts,
Also not to listen.
TV shows,
Also not to watch.
articles.
Don't read.
And so you've made the decision. Now, you're a lawyer yourself too, right?
I am.
And you made the decision, I'm not going to look at any of this stuff.
Correct.
I don't want to know what happened to the father of my 2 children.
Not I don't want to know what happened.
How can you say you love those boys if you don't care who killed the father that they loved?
You also have a separate obligation as an attorney to tell the truth, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Don't believe that I did.
You did not.
I don't remember doing that, no.
No further questions.
I don't remember exactly the timeline of that.
Okay, thank you.
Lawyers, yeah. I honestly don't remember.
Second, there's the challenge of proof. Florida requires grand jury indictment for first-degree murder charges. Prosecutors would need to convince a grand jury that the evidence against Wendi is sufficient. Much of that evidence is circumstantial. The suspicious timing, the advanced knowledge from LaCasa's testimony, the emails showing motive, the fact that she benefited most from Dan's death, moving her children to Miami within 48 hours. Circumstantial evidence can convict, but prosecutors may feel they need more, something concrete, something that directly ties Wendi to the planning or execution of the murder. When prosecutors questioned Wendi during Charlie's trial, observers noted that the direct examination felt more like a cross-examination. They were pushing her, testing her, searching for cracks in her story.
It's like my parents have more reason to dislike Danny than almost anyone else. Is that what you said?
That is what I said.
And that's because he hurt you, right?
And I was saying that in the context of talking to law enforcement for hours and hours and trying to help them figure out who might be responsible.
Right. And who did you tell them might be responsible?
Well, I told them many, many people. But are you asking about this particular moment right here?
You told them your family might be responsible.
Or
didn't
potentially
you?
someone to do with a former student or his current girlfriend. I mentioned lots of people that I thought could be responsible.
Okay. And of the lots of people that could have been responsible, your family was one.
Yep.
Because they might have done this thinking it would help you. I mean, that's what happened, right?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Your family had your ex-husband killed to try to help you, didn't they?
No, that's completely untrue.
When did you learn that Catherine McBanoa was blackmailing your brother for the murder of your ex-husband?
Today.
So he never told you?
No.
You testified in Catherine McBanoa's murder trial last year, didn't you?
I did, yes.
And she was convicted.
She was convicted, yes.
A crime for which she apparently is innocent because she was just a conduit for Sigfredo Garcia. Did you learn that today along with all of us?
Well, I learned that someone made that argument. I don't know whether it's true or not true.
Did your dad get any big gifts for his 70th?
I don't remember.
So there was no big lead up and discussion about some big gift that you were involved in, at least?
I don't remember. I don't remember if I gave him a present. I hope I did.
Do you remember what anybody gave him for that birthday?
I really don't.
Was the murder of Dan Markel your dad's big gift?
I mean, that's, of course not. That's a horrible thing to say.
What about the grandchildren, getting full unfettered access to the grandchildren?
My
Could that have
parents
been
had
the
full
big gift?
unfettered access to their grandchildren always.
You want the culpable parties held accountable for murdering the father of your children?
Absolutely. I'm grateful they're already in jail.
But not if it's your family.
It's not my family.
Somebody hired them, right?
Not necessarily.
Somebody paid them.
I learned something this morning.
Yeah, me too. You didn't want them held accountable if it was your family members. Didn't you tell law enforcement that?
That's not what I told law enforcement.
What did you tell law enforcement?
I told them that the person who did this should be held responsible and that I had nothing to do with it.
Page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. The investigator says regardless of who it is, and your answer is, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother.
But I don't think it was my family, is what I say.
Different now, isn't it?
No, it's not different. That's exactly
different
what I
today,
said
isn't
right
it?
here. No, that's not
No
right.
further questions.
And then there are the texts from Donna to Wendi, revealed during Donna's trial. After Charlie's conviction, Donna sent Wendi text messages that were chilling in their implications. Your brother protected you for years, Donna wrote. Now you're not guilty. Your lawyer took very good care of you. In another text, Donna said, everyone looks to protect you. I bet you've got a lot to think about. These texts suggest Donna believes Wendi was involved, that Charlie took the fall to protect his sister, that the family made a conscious choice about who would face justice and who would walk free. Former prosecutors analyzing this case have mixed opinions. Some believe the evidence against Wendi is insufficient for conviction. They argue that knowledge of a crime, even advanced knowledge, doesn't necessarily make someone a co-conspirator unless they took affirmative steps to aid or encourage it. Wendi could argue she didn't take her brother's statement seriously, that she thought it was still just talk, that she never imagined it would actually happen. Others disagree vehemently. They point out that under Florida law, Wendi could be charged as a co-conspirator even if she didn't actively plan the logistics. If she cooperated, if she aided in any way, if she stood to benefit and knew what was happening, that could be enough. Her providing Dan's schedule, her confirming his availability, her creating an alibi with the television repair, all of these could be argued as affirmative acts in furtherance of the conspiracy. Some legal experts have gone even further, suggesting prosecutors may have additional evidence against Wendi that hasn't been presented in the previous trials. Evidence that wasn't relevant to proving Charlie's or Donna's guilt, but would be crucial to proving Wendi's. Evidence they've been holding back, waiting for the right moment. After Donna's conviction, State Attorney Jack Campbell addressed the media. He acknowledged the public's curiosity and interest, but said decisions about further charges would be made in the coming weeks. The message was clear. The investigation isn't over. Wendi is still under scrutiny. But there's a strategic consideration. Prosecutors have successfully convicted 5 people. That's a remarkable achievement in a complex conspiracy case. If they charge Wendi and fail to convict, it could undermine the previous convictions. Defense attorneys could argue that if Wendi was acquitted, it suggests prosecutors got the whole conspiracy wrong. It's the age-old prosecutor's calculation. Is it better to have 5 convictions or risk everything for a 6th? Legal analyst Joe Bodiford articulated this perfectly after Donna's conviction. From a trial guy standpoint, he said, if you've got 5 and go for 6 and you don't get 6, you've still got 5. And that's a pretty good record. But is that justice? Is Dan Markel's family supposed to accept that the one person who knew him most intimately, who co-parented his children, who stood to gain the most from his death, faces no consequences? Through all of this, Dan Markel's parents, Ruth and Phil, have fought for their son's memory and for access to their grandsons. After Dan's death, Wendi cut off all contact between the Markel parents and their grandsons. She changed the boys' last names from Markel to Adelson, claiming it was for their safety. Dan's parents have been locked in legal battles for years, trying to maintain a relationship with their grandchildren, trying to ensure that Dan's sons know who their father really was. The tragedy extends beyond Dan's murder. 2 young boys lost their father to violence. They were uprooted from their home, their names changed, their paternal grandparents removed from their lives. They've grown up surrounded by a family where multiple members are serving life sentences for orchestrating their father's death. What do you tell children in that situation? How do you explain that their grandmother, their uncle, paid to have their father killed? And what if their mother knew? Wendi had written about a woman trapped in a difficult situation, desperate to escape. She created fiction about family conflicts, about impossible choices. But her fiction became her reality in the most horrific way imaginable. Whether she actively participated in the conspiracy or simply knew about it and did nothing, the result is the same. Dan Markel is dead. Her children grew up without their father, and 5 people are in prison while she walks free. There's a psychological theory about willful blindness, about people who don't want to know the details because knowledge brings responsibility. Did Wendi fall into that category? Did she hear her brother's statements about hiring a hitman and choose not to dig deeper because she knew that if she understood the full extent of the plan, she'd be complicit in not stopping it? Or did she know everything, provide the information needed, and simply play her role perfectly, knowing that her position as Dan's ex-wife would make her the least likely suspect? As of now, in November 2025, no new charges have been filed. Wendi Adelson continues her life, free from prosecution but not from suspicion. The state attorney's office maintains that decisions are forthcoming. Grand juries can be convened. Evidence can be presented. But time is also a factor. Memories fade. Witnesses become less reliable. The longer prosecutors wait, the harder a case becomes to prove. There's also the possibility of someone flipping. Could Katie Magbanua provide additional information in exchange for a reduced sentence? Could Charlie, now facing life in prison, decide to tell the full truth about his sister's involvement? Could even Donna, bitter about her conviction while Wendi remains free, decide to reveal what she knows? Any of these scenarios could change the landscape dramatically. This case leaves us with profound questions about justice, about evidence, about the difference between legal guilt and moral responsibility. Can someone be guilty in the court of public opinion, but not in a court of law? Can a system achieve justice when the person most intertwined with the victim walks away while everyone around them falls? The evidence against Wendi is substantial, but largely circumstantial. She had the motive, a custody battle she was losing. She had advanced knowledge, confirmed by her ex-boyfriend's testimony. She had opportunity, providing scheduling information and creating an alibi. She had the means, coming from a wealthy family willing to pay for a solution. She benefited most directly, moving her children to Miami within hours of Dan's death. Yet she has never been charged. Prosecutors face the burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Circumstantial evidence can meet that burden, but it's a higher mountain to climb. Wendi's intelligence works in her favor. She's a trained lawyer. She knows how the system operates. She knows what can and cannot be proven. Every answer she's given in testimony has been carefully crafted to avoid perjury while maintaining plausible deniability. Dan Markel's murder wasn't a random act of violence. It was a calculated execution, planned and funded by a family that believed their needs outweighed one man's life. 5 people have been convicted for their roles in this conspiracy. But the question that haunts this case, that keeps legal observers and true crime enthusiasts riveted, is whether justice is complete with those 5 convictions or whether the most crucial conspirator remains free. Wendi Adelson's role in her ex-husband's death may never be fully proven in a criminal court. She may never face a jury. She may never hear a guilty verdict. But she will forever be known as the woman at the center of this conspiracy, the person who had everything to gain and who, at minimum, did nothing to stop a murder she knew was coming. Some will argue that's not enough for prosecution. That knowledge without action isn't criminal. Others will argue that her inaction was itself an action, that failing to warn Dan when she knew his life was in danger makes her complicit. The legal system will ultimately decide if charges are ever filed, but the court of public opinion has already rendered its verdict. Dan Markel deserved to watch his sons grow up. He deserved to continue his groundbreaking legal scholarship. He deserved to live. 5 people made sure he didn't. But was there a 6th? That question lingers over this case like a shadow, darkening what should be a moment of justice achieved. As we close this investigation, remember that the truth often hides in plain sight. Sometimes the most obvious suspect is obvious for a reason. Sometimes the person who benefits most is the person responsible. And sometimes justice delayed becomes justice denied. This is the type of case we bring you here at Dark Trail Files. Cases where the investigation doesn't end with a conviction, where questions remain unanswered, where the truth is more complex than it first appears. If you want more content like this, deep dives into cases that challenge our understanding of justice, then subscribe to our channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Share this video with anyone who loves true crime, who believes in accountability, who wants to understand how the system works, and sometimes how it fails. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Wendi Adelson should be charged? Do you believe the evidence is sufficient? Or do you think she's been unfairly targeted because she was in an unfortunate position with an unhinged family? We want to hear from you. Until next time, keep searching for the truth. This is Dark Trail Files, where we follow the evidence wherever it leads, even when that path is dark, twisted, and incomplete. What if I told you that a Harvard-educated law professor, a respected scholar devoted to his 2 young sons, was executed in his own driveway in broad daylight, and the one person who stood to gain everything from his demise has never spent a single day in jail? What if I told you that 5 people are now serving life sentences for this calculated execution, yet the ex-wife, the mother of the victim's children, walks free despite being named by prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator? This is the story of Dan Markel's murder, and at the center of it all stands Wendi Adelson, a woman whose role in this tragedy has divided legal experts, captivated the nation, and left one haunting question unanswered. How is she not behind bars? Before we dive deep into this baffling case, if you're fascinated by true crime stories where the truth hides in plain sight, where justice seems just out of reach, then you need to subscribe to Dark Trail Files right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we bring you the cases that keep you up at night, the mysteries that demand answers, and the investigations that reveal how the justice system can be both brilliant and bewildering. Don't miss out on our in-depth coverage of cases like this one, where every detail matters and nothing is quite what it seems. Now, let's unravel this mystery together. July 18th, 2014. A typical summer day in Tallahassee, Florida. Dan Markel, 41 years old, returns home from his regular workout at the gym. He pulls into his garage, just another routine moment in what should have been an ordinary day. But 2 men had been waiting. They had traveled over 500 miles from South Florida, stalking their target, learning his patterns, planning the perfect moment. As Dan sat in his car, still in the driver's seat, a light-colored Toyota Prius pulled up behind him. One man jumped out. 2 shots, both to the head, fired through the car window at point-blank range. Dan Markel,